Good morning. I'm sorry, it took me a few minutes to get on because they're switching the way you do going live on Facebook. So I wasn't aware of how to get on, but they let me do it the old way. So I'm here. I am welcome to the group, to all the new members. I'm very excited to hear what your questions are and if there's anything that we can discuss that will help you guys in your journeys. Um, just post your questions in the comments section. There's like a light shining on my face. Sorry. That's worse. Okay. So, oh goodness. Okay. That does not work. All right. You'll just have to see a little light shining on my face. But anyway, we're going to talk this morning about parental alienation. And I think a lot of people who are going through divorce deal with this primarily because there's a lot of anger, as you're going through divorce. And so that anger comes across to the children, and some parents, we all kind of let it out sometimes. And so, but there are certain circumstances where it's really bad, and that one parent is trying to really damage the relationship that the children have with the other parent. And, they can say negative things about the other parent. They can not allow the children to see the other parent. Um, the There supposedly is 22 million parents, 1 in 7, who are being alienated willfully or unconsciously from their children. So it's a large issue, and I don't think there's enough information out there. So I just wanted to give a little bit of information to people who are having this happen to them or are maybe concerned about it. So children are significantly impacted by parental alienation, and the reason is because children feel that they're a part of each parent. They are part of their mother and part of their father. If they have two mothers or two fathers, they are part of both parents. And they, if one parent says something negative about the other parent, the child internalizes that and feels that it is negative about them. So, it's really has a negative impact on children. And children have low self-esteem. They blame themselves for the situation. They can have all sorts of issues. It can severely damage a child's relationship with the other parent. And children do need both parents. Unless there's some sort of significant abuse, children need to have both parents, and they can feel depressed. There's so many things, so many negative consequences to that. So it can also result in poor interpersonal relationships, poor impulse control, aggression. So no matter how a parent was, so no matter how one of the parents was as a spouse, it doesn't mean they're going to be a bad parent. Those are two very different roles that people play. And I always tell parents that they may have been terrible to you, but they could be very different to their children. And even if you see some signs that they're similar to a child, it's not the same, because there's this unconditional love that a parent has for a child. So that's underneath everything. Whereas spouses, you don't feel that way. So so a lot of people are concerned about the other parent and seeing some of the similar behavior that the other parent is is having towards the children, and they think that indicates that they're being abusive, or if it is abuse, that's different, but I think people are a little bit too sensitive about that, and that you need to kind of work with a therapist, a co-parenting counselor, to determine if this is actual abuse or if the parent can, um, you know, improve their relationship with their child. Um, so, so there is treatment for children who've been alienated, and that is co-parenting counseling. There's individual counseling for the child, um, and it's not easy, but it is possible for families to get through parental alienation and come out the other side. So I want to see if there are any questions right now. Um, Sorry, it's Eastern Standard Time, and everything I do is in Eastern Standard Time. Um, so, what are the the person who has been alienated? What do you do? Now, I work with this a lot in my practice, and especially now with the coronavirus, I've had two different situations. I've had a situation where, or situations where, like the alienated parent is not going to be seeing the child during this time because the family's quarantined, and the parent just doesn't want, it's not going to work. And I've had other situations where the parents actually need each other, and the alienated parent is seeing the child more. So, it depends what's going on in your situation. This may be better or worse during the quarantine situation. So, that's this is a very unusual times right now. And when parents are going through divorce, it makes it even more difficult. So I see that a lot of people have joined, and I'm very happy to see you here. I don't see any questions, but maybe there's a delay, so there's a chance that there are questions, but I just don't see them yet. So let's see. There's one comment. Um, so the other thing I wanted to talk about is communication, and it has to do with, I mean, in alienation, it's difficult. There are apps that divorcing people use that are helpful, um, but it's really important that you develop a way to communicate with your ex that where there's not constant fighting and constant triggering of each other. And it's really beneficial to you, because who wants to be in conflict all the time? And also to your children to be able to communicate effectively with your ex. So um, one of the skills that I talk um, to parents about is to ignore anytime you're being provoked by your ex. And that could be very hard. I know that, it brings up all these old feelings, and it's very easy to react um, to a provocation from someone who spent a lot of time with, you were close to. But if you react, it's just going to continue. They're going to react, you're going to react, it's going to escalate. So do whatever you can to take a few minutes, to take some deep breaths, to calm down, to call a friend, to not react to not text back, to not email back, to not shout back. You're not married to going to be married to the person anymore, so you don't have to respond to everything. You don't have to come together on everything. You can take a break, but don't stop the communication. So you say to the person, you know what, I think things are getting a little heated right now. I think we need a little time to calm down. Let's talk tomorrow, or let's talk later today, or we can discuss this, with the co-parenting counselor. So really learning how to do that is difficult, but it is so helpful when you're interacting with an ex who can trigger, you, and you probably trigger each other. So I just wanted to say that. Okay, I'm going to put on my glasses now because I can't see. Um, So somebody, Jay said, we know parental alienation is happening. It damages the kids. How do you get it to stop? My ex won't co-parent, just wants to make me look bad, and she wanted the divorce. I was a decent husband. She's mad I wouldn't go for the divorce. Okay, so here's one tip that I have for for people who are do saying negative things about you. What I would tell them is that please don't say anything negative about me to the children. It's going to really damage the children. You're not affecting me, you're affecting the children, and please know that. So I would say that, you know every so often, and maybe they ignore you the first time, couple times you say that, but it will get through to them because you're not responding, you're not being defensive, you're not saying I wasn't a good parent, I was a good parent, you're wrong, I was a great parent. That's being defensive. You're not saying that. You're just saying, please don't say anything negative to the children about me. We both shouldn't say anything negative to the children about each other because it damages the children. There's research that shows it damages the children. Please don't do that. And, if the person doesn't listen to you, then I would go to a co-parenting counselor, a co-parenting coach. You can get a professional who has experience in this to talk to your ex if they're still doing it. But don't react. That's the key. Don't react, because once you react emotionally, you're it's weird, but your ex probably wants that reaction. Your ex is probably pushing you to get that reaction because they're angry and they want to make you upset. So if you stay calm and you just say, we both should never say anything negative about each other to the children, it damages the children. If you just say that one statement, it will get through eventually, hopefully. This obviously isn't 100% effective because there are people who just, because of some kind of, either mental illness or some kind of real negative behavior, are not willing to do that. But I'd say, 90% of the time, you'll get people who will get it. It just takes them a little time. And you can say that, like, your anger towards me is different than what you're doing to the children. Please just don't say anything negative about me to the children. I hope that answered your question, Jay. It's hard. It's really hard when, someone is saying something negative to your children about you. Have faith that your children will be, willing to have an open mind and not take these comments. But the other thing I was going to say, so this is another part of this. Tell your children that neither your other parent or I should ever say negative things about you. And if either of us do, you need to tell us to stop. I can't do it. Your mom or dad can't do it. It's not good. So if you tell this to your children, it will give them the skills to put up some boundaries, so that if either of you say anything negative about the other, they'll say, you told me, you're not supposed to say anything negative about mom or dad. So getting the children to set some boundaries is another great tool to have this stop. And because, I guarantee you, both of you have said negative things about the other. It just happens. So if you tell your children and they say it to you, most likely they're saying it to the other parent too. So those are the two things. Don't react and tell the other parent, we need to never say anything negative about the other because it damages the children. And the second thing is to tell the children that that's not okay also, and so that they can tell both parents, please don't say anything about mom, please don't say anything about dad. So I hope that was clear. And I'm trying to see, there's no other questions right now. Um, but I'm going to be doing this on Mondays um, at 11, and hopefully you guys can join and interact. You can give any kind of, you can send any kind of questions in the posts. I'm also very happy that there's been a lot of more interaction on the page. Please post anything that you're going through, any struggle. I'm sure other people are going through it also. And it's really great to be supportive and help each other. And I look forward to interacting more. Take care.